Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking Dr. Sonia Singh's clinical insights and turning them into real, actionable nutritional strategies for kids with special needs. If you're a caregiver, parent, or educator, you already know mealtime can sometimes feel like a literal battlefield. But what if those battles at the dinner table aren't about stubbornness at all? What if they're actually deeply rooted in biology, sensory processing, and, believe it or not, the gut? Today, we're totally demystifying the diet-behavior connection. All right, let's dive right in. We're going to start by looking at the global scope of special needs, then unravel the whole picky eating puzzle, explore the incredible gut-brain connection, look into some specialized diets, and finally wrap up with practical strategies you can actually use as caregivers.
So, Part 1. The global scope of special needs.
240 million. Think about that for a second. That massive number represents the millions of kids worldwide living with disabilities. Everything from physiological and developmental concerns, like autism and ADHD, to various learning challenges. Seeing a number this big, it's a powerful reminder that if you're managing a child's unique needs, you are absolutely not alone on this journey. This is a global reality.
To put that into perspective, a full 10% of the global child population requires specialized care, inclusion, and, crucially for what we're talking about today, nutritional handholding. Because here's the thing, when a child's nutritional status is locked in and well-maintained, they are vastly more capable of overcoming those physiological and learning barriers. It's a real game changer.
Moving on to Part 2, the picky eating puzzle.
You know, what often looks like pure rigidity or oppositional defiance at the dinner table is usually something entirely different. It's often a child experiencing just overwhelming sensory input. Kids with special needs can experience bright lights, super loud noises, specific smells, and even the feeling of certain fabrics so much more intensely than neurotypical kids. So when they completely refuse a food because of its color, shape, or texture, it's not them being stubborn. It's a very real sensory defense mechanism. It's often described exactly like this. Children are locked within themselves. They are in their own world. They really aren't trying to be difficult, I promise. They're just trying to maintain some baseline of comfort in a world that feels incredibly intense and, honestly, just totally unpredictable. So naturally, they gravitate toward the very few foods that actually feel safe to them. But here's where this puzzle gets a bit tricky. Digesting natural foods like raw fruits and veggies actually takes a lot of time and bodily energy. And because of this, these kids instinctively crave quick, sugary energy from processed foods. It makes total sense, right? But unfortunately, while it gives them that instant jolt they're looking for, it kicks off a vicious cycle. That high sugar intake directly fuels severe behavioral spikes and hyperactivity. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the gut-brain connection. Okay, this is absolutely crucial, understanding the gut-brain axis. Think of this axis and specifically the vagus nerve as a direct, high-speed fiber optic cable running straight between the gut and the brain. And communication on this highway goes both ways. That means whatever's happening down in the digestive tract instantly signals the nervous system and vice versa. If a child's gut is inflamed, their brain is literally receiving distress signals, and that often manifests on the outside as behavioral meltdowns. And there is just a stark contrast in how different foods affect the system. A high sugar diet totally disrupts the good bacteria in the gut. That leads to dysbiosis, incredibly painful constipation, and neuroinflammation. But on the flip side, introducing probiotics like yogurt or buttermilk and prebiotics in the form of fiber, that actually feeds the good bacteria. Feeding the gut healthy fiber adds bulk, which prevents that painful constipation, all while drastically reducing hyperactivity. It creates a calm, solid foundation for better learning. Now, because picky eating so often restricts a child's diet to mostly processed foods, we end up seeing a massive drop in crucial micronutrients. We're talking about iron, which powers dopamine synthesis and oxygen transport, huge for motivation and focus, zinc and omega-3s, which are vital for modulating neurotransmitters and improving neuronal membrane fluidity, which is basically how quickly the brain processes signals, and vitamin D for mood and immune health. When picky eating strips away these essential building blocks, we start seeing slowed cognitive development, delayed milestones, and really compromised emotional regulation. So what do? Let's get into Section 4, exploring specialized diets. We can actually align customized diets to manage specific symptoms. For instance, the Fingal diet completely removes artificial food dyes and colors, which has been shown to really calm hyperactivity.
Then there's the GFCF diet, that stands for gluten-free and casein-free, which pulls out wheat and dairy proteins that many kids just struggle to break down. Doing that can vastly improve their digestion and their ability to focus and learn. Or the ketogenic diet, which swaps out high carbs for high fats to alter brain energy metabolism, specifically to help reduce epileptic seizures. Now, wait, before you rush out to clear your entire pantry, hear this warning. These elimination diets are absolutely not casual experiments. Eliminating major food groups like dairy and wheat can inadvertently push a child into severe calcium and vitamin B deficiencies. So, it is crucial. These diets must be medically monitored by a pediatrician or a qualified dietitian to make sure we aren't creating new nutritional gaps while trying to fix old ones. But hey, fortunately, if your child's medical professional does confirm they can't tolerate wheat, you aren't out of options. Swapping wheat for whole grains like rice, millet, quinoa, sorghum, amaranth, or buckwheat keeps their immune system super strong. It gives them the steady energy they need, completely skipping the digestive distress. These alternative grains are absolutely essential for getting those B-complex vitamins and keeping immune support high. All right, let's bring it all home with Section 5, Practical Strategies for Caregivers. Here are your top 3 daily strategies you can start using right away. Number 1, become a label detective. Ingredients are listed by weight, so hunt for those hidden dyes, gluten, and casein in processed foods. Number 2, rotate your grains. Use cyclic menus so the child doesn't get burnt out or suddenly develop a new food aversion. And number 3, and this one is probably the most important, let them play with their food. I know, we're telling you to encourage exactly what you spent years trying to stop, but by making mealtime a low-pressure exploration of colors, shapes, and textures, letting them really touch and feel it instead of a forced feeding session, caregivers can slowly, gently break down that rigidity. And let's talk about how to start the day off right. Swapping out a typical sugary cereal or muesli for a high-protein breakfast is literally one of the most effective ways to set a calm, focused tone for the entire school day. Think about it. Sugary breakfasts trigger immediate hyperactivity spikes, which means the child is going to crash and lose focus by mid-morning. But high-protein options, things like egg whites or dals, those provide stable, sustained energy that drastically enhances their learning capabilities in the classroom. It's a night and day difference. So, we're going to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. If the gut and the brain are always talking to each other, what message will your child's next meal send? Is it going to be a signal of distress and hyperactivity, or a signal of calm, focus, and healing? We really hope this explainer has empowered you to look at behavior through a biological lens and to start using nutrition as a daily, incredibly powerful tool for connection and growth. Thanks so much for learning with us today.